Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookham here. Today I've received finally my order from NSP Nutrition. Thank you very much, NSP Nutrition. The great thing about this particular supplement company is that A, it was established by Vince Gironda in 1972, and two, most of the diets where he recommends the use of supplements, and I say most because some do not, some diets that Vince actually created did not use supplements, but most of the ones that he did required the use of, I would say, hard to source supplements such as beef liver and dried up adrenal glands and other things. And you can find, that's the great thing about this website, is that because it was established by Vince, it was catered for Vince's diets. And so if you are following Vince's diets and wish to know, where can I find adrenal glands, pituitary glands, and all these other things which are very difficult to find, I have to admit, or you have to go to Amazon and order from one site, then from another to get all the different things, and you end up paying a lot on postage, etc. That's the great thing about NSP Nutrition. It's like your one-stop shop. You're going to find all of the supplements that Vince talked about on this website. Plus, you're also going to find a lot of his booklets and information on diets, on bodybuilding, etc. So it's a great website. That's why I aligned myself with them. That's why we're collaborating. NSP Nutrition, you can use my code GB20 for a 20% discount. That's pretty awesome on all of their products, on their apparel, so that's clothing, on all of their supplements and all of their books. Now my order, what does it contain? Well, it contains the ultra muscle density 92% milk and egg protein in a vanilla cherry almond flavor with stevia. I love the design. It's awesome. You got this fantastic statuesque kind of figure there pouring out the NSP Nutrition sign. It's really awesome. But the great thing about the muscle density 92% protein is that it's very similar to Rio Blaze protein, and I'll get to that in a minute. Very hard to source is the original defatted power beef liver that is still sold by NSP Nutrition. It's so popular that it was sold out for a few months. That's how popular it is. And then they have to restock, and that takes them a while. They actually source their beef liver from Argentina, where basically cattle have the best life in the whole world because it's just green pastures for hundreds of kilometers. And it's an excellent way for these animals to be raised, and it's basically good animal welfare still practiced over there, not mass produced, mass farming, which is I'm not in agreement with either. I also got dried adrenal glands, which are Adreno 160, still sold by NSP Nutrition, and again it's bovine, so it's from cow. Again, sourced from Argentina, an excellent quality of adrenal glands. We've got the ultra pure free singular amino acids, also sold by NSP Nutrition, and another company that is also selling on their particular website. I'm not sure if it's was run by Ron Kosloff or not, but nevertheless is sold, is iodine tablets. Now the reason why this is so important is because Vince was a big believer, just like many of the old school bodybuilders, in the old school bodybuilding nutrition was focused on, as Bob Guider once told me, building the bodybuilder from the balls up, so to speak, right? What does that mean? Well, it means that you have to prime the body to be in an anabolic state, and that is highly dependent on the endocrine system of the individual. This is why endocrinology in bodybuilding, a lot of people back then at least, believed, such as Rhea Blair, on priming the endocrine system of the bodybuilder, because if their endocrine system, if their hormonal makeup was primed, then you would have an anabolic environment which allowed the bodybuilder to grow. And that was what old school bodybuilding nutrition was all about back then, and I will have to go in greater detail about this. The point is that in order to prime the endocrine system correctly, you have to feed the body what it really needs. And this is the thing, this is what was so great about Rio Blair and Vince Gironda, is that they could look at each individual and see them as an individual, and through a variety of tests would eventually find out what the particular individual needed. And this is what's great about those supplements. These supplements, which are mainly animal proteins and especially organs, I mean, I can't stress the value of organs enough, is that by combining the nutritional profile of organ meats is truly underrated, and they give, I believe at least, and just like the old bodybuilders and Vince Gironda and Rio Blair did back then, they give nutrition that you would not normally find, obviously, in muscle tissue or milk and egg. I mean, this is the basic, your milk and eggs. But these also give other kinds of nutritional properties that you're not going to find in meat, especially. I mean, it's a different organ, right? And again, I'm going to talk about all this in the future, in another video. Another great thing that Vince was a great believer of was kelp. Again, it has to do with priming the thyroid gland correctly. And this all has to do with basically priming the endocrine system of that particular bodybuilder. That's what's so great about NSP Nutrition's supplement range, is that it still honors this old school bodybuilding nutrition principle of what's called the use of not just protein but hormone precursors or prebolics. It's a real big topic that I've delved into recently after reading Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors, which I highly recommend, because basically the whole book is based on this particular topic. And I really have learned a lot from speaking to Don Howarth and Bob Guida in regards to this topic, which is why I want to share in the future videos on how you can prime your anabolic system using such supplementation, some specific diets, etc. It's really a whole other level of bodybuilding. It's fantastic. Now, let's talk about NSP's muscle density 92% milk and egg protein. As I mentioned, from all the proteins I've seen so far, it is the closest to Rio Blair's original protein, because it contains a protein profile very similar to mother's milk. If I can just zoom that in a little bit more, you'll see that if I can just, oops, sorry about that. It says here in other ingredients that the protein blend consists of calcium caseinate, so casein, lactal albumin, and egg white albumin. And I asked the people at NSP what type of lactal albumin they have, and they said that it was alpha. The great thing about alpha lactal albumin, pure alpha lactal albumin, is that that's what Rio Blair was trying to work on back then. He was trying to create, so he's Rio Blair's protein. The only problem with it was that it contained so much lactose. But he said that that was a good thing because it made the digestion of protein slower. But I think that was just, he was just trying to get around the fact that he couldn't get rid of lactose. The point that was so good about Rio Blair's protein, though, was that it contained a high amount of lactal albumin to make a ratio. Again, I have to talk about this in a separate video. Similar to make the nutritional profile very similar to mother's milk, which is very compatible, of course, with us humans, because we're humans. And so the only protein that I see so far out there that truly reflects what Rio Blair was trying to achieve and has even improved on it is this particular protein. It also contains, again, papain and pepsine and bromelain. These were also sold separately in the past by NSP Nutrition because, again, Vince was a big believer in digesting, because it's not just how much protein you ingest, it's how much you absorb. This is so important. And again, you find these digestive enzymes in the ultra muscle density 92% milk and egg protein. It's kind of like when you get these products, it's Vince's bodybuilding and nutrition principles in a bottle. It really is. It's fantastic. And that's the great thing about the NSP website. It's your one-stop shop. If you're doing old school bodybuilding nutrition, it really is your one-stop shop. It's fantastic. You're going to find all the supplements, all the booklets, and of course, your nostalgic Vince's Gym tank tops and apparel. It's great. I love it. Beef liver, defatted. This was sold out for months. That's how popular this is. It's really awesome. And it's got a great profile of branched chain amino acids. That's valine, leucine, and isoleucine. So it's like taking your BCAAs, but with much, much more, because this is real food. That's the great thing about beef liver. And Vince recommended taking beef liver every 2 hours. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2 tablets or 3 tablets every 2 hours for certain bodybuilders. And it's even stated here, liver is a food. Let's put that in the middle. You may take as many as you need to satisfy your bodybuilding needs, but a minimum would be 10 per day. I mean, just get that through your mind. 10 per day at 5 mg per serving, that's 5 grams per day. I actually do about 10 to, so that's 5 grams per day, 10 of these. I do actually 10 to 15 grams per day. And since I've started doing that, my immune system got so much better. I've been sleeping better, and my recovery has been way, way better. So I'm not sure why yet. I'm still trying to do some research on it. I do know that the profile of liver in comparison to meat, to just muscle, is way, way better. And I need to do a video on this as well. I'm going to do a whole new video series on the topic of pre-bolics and looking at old school bodybuilding nutrition, the way Rio Blair and Vince Gironda advocated, because it did lead to these phenomenal physiques in a time where anabolic steroids were just being experimented on, and in most cases not relied heavily on, or not even taken by some bodybuilders at all. I mean, if you hear the stories that I've been listening to, and being part of the conversations that I've been part of with Bob Guider and Don Howarth, you'll realize how heavily they relied on proper nutrition. I mean, Bob Guider was completely natural, and Don Howarth was mostly natural. And I know a lot of people don't believe this, but that's their own words, and I believe them because that's what they're telling me. I have to believe it. And under the circumstances, it's easier to believe anyway, and I can't get through it. I can't talk about it right now. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just talking about these particular supplements. The Adreno 160, again, is just bovine raw adrenal, so it's from cows as well, to support the endocrine system. As I mentioned earlier, the iodine tablets are also to support, essential for your thyroid, as you can read there. These are things many people don't really look at. Again, I want to talk about this in more detail. It's for thyroid health, and thyroid health is super important. If your thyroid is out of whack, forget it. Your anabolic system in your body is not going to be primed correctly, right? Your whole endocrine system is not going to be primed correctly. You're basically going to go from an anabolic to a catabolic state. And finally, free singular amino acids, ultra pure free singular amino acids are also sold. And Vince also recommended these. Vince recommended the intake of amino acids, iodine, the adrenal, the pituitary, which I didn't get in this order, the beef liver, and of course your protein with every meal, or spaced in between meals. All about, again, driving that anabolic impetus in the body to stimulate muscle growth. This is why you had some phenomenal transformations back in the day, in a time where, Dianabol didn't exist, and only testosterone was around, and I doubt that testosterone was used by many of these bodybuilders. But anyway, that's what this video has been about, my order, a brief explanation as to what each of these supplements can do for you, and again, all available at nspnutrition.com. Use my code GB20 for a 20% discount. I hope you have enjoyed watching this, I guess now rather detailed look at these particular supplements from NSP Nutrition. Thank you again for sending these through. I will do a more detailed series of videos on old school bodybuilding nutrition, focusing on hormone precursors and the subject of pre-bolics and how it was used. A completely lost, so I was saying, with pre-bolics, it's a completely lost concept in bodybuilding, and all we see nowadays really is just the amino acids and the protein, as well as, of course, now creatine and pre-workouts and stuff like that, but we don't, and even how to cut up products on that, but we don't really see this holistic approach that was really the norm back then. If you look at the way Reg Park ate Don Howarth, you have of course Bob Guider, Arnold, all of these guys, they all did this stuff, right? And this is kind of what I need to start focusing on in my next series of videos. I really want to talk about pre-bolics and hormone precursors. Anyway, I've talked enough about this stuff, and yeah, I think it's time to end the video. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm, leave me a comment and thank you for watching. Again, if you want your one-stop shop to Old School Bodybuilding Nutrition, that is supplements, information, and apparel, go to NSB Nutrition. I really think it's a great website where you're going to find all of Vince's booklets, their supplements, and vintage apparel such as the gym tanks and sweaters. I'm getting those too. They're coming in the mail shortly, and I'll show you them. That's a great thing. You buy a booklet from Vince, it's got a diet there, the supplements are listed, and you can buy them all on the one website. You don't have to go looking other places. It's a great website. If you'd like to, again, visit NSP Nutrition, you can use my code GB20 to get a 20% discount. If you'd like to support my research on old school bodybuilding and physical culture, please donate via PayPal, become a patron, visit my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com, for out-of-print books and courses on old school bodybuilding. And please email me if you wish to collaborate or to pass on your memorabilia, magazines, or books on old school bodybuilding. That's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Bye for now.